Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I am so excited to be sharing with you my very first update for my 2023 year-long rolling style project pan. In this project, I'm always focusing on 10 focus items, all of which have different types of goals. Some are usage, some are hitting pan, some are using up the item in its entirety. And truly, my goal with this year is to find a balance between using the makeup that I have and using up some of the items that are getting a little bit older and the things that I love on. So this is something that I'm so excited to be doing again this year. Last year, I did a project pan that was structured very similarly to this, and it was hugely successful for me. It was really fun, and I did use up a lot of makeup from my collection as well through that project. So we're trying it again. If you want to check out the introduction to this project pan, then you'll learn a little bit more about why I selected each of my items and a little bit more context about this project. But otherwise, today, we're gonna hop on in and talk about the progress that I've made in this first month of my project. A practice that I'm carrying over from last year is tracking the number of times that I wear makeup between updates so that I can provide you a little bit more context with how often I'm actually wearing makeup. And I'm also tracking the number of uses on each individual item so that you can see why or why not I'm making the progress that I am. So I think those metrics just help to better understand how I'm able to work through makeup in the capacity that I am, or for me, it offers me a little bit more insight into why something isn't moving and maybe I need to step up my number of uses in order to see the progress that I'm hoping to achieve. I started this project on the very first day of January, but I believe my introduction went up around like the 4th or 5th, something like that. And I have worn makeup 28 times since I actually started wearing these products for this project pan. That is a massive amount of uses. That is not typical for me whatsoever, but I think I'm just so motivated, especially because I kicked off my pan those eyeshadows for the first time in months, and I'm just really excited to see some progress on some of these products. 28 times is significant. It's very large. That is definitely not the average whatsoever. I'd say I usually wear makeup more like 18 to 23 or 24 times a month. That's actually something I'd like to look back on. But yeah, 28 is definitely atypical. Today is also the 3rd of February, so I've pushed this update a little bit farther than I usually would. But anyways, let's get on into the update. I am in such a rambling mood and I do not have time to do so. I'm actually filming this video before I start work for the day, so I don't have time to just be on the ramble bus. So let's kick it off with the lip products in this project. The first item I have is the Melt All Day Everyday Ultra Matte Lip Liner. This is in the shade Cinder. This is a stunning kind of salmony coral kind of shade. This color is really beautiful and it is something that I wasn't using that often prior to rolling it into this project, so I'm happy it's becoming more of a regular part of my routine. And I've used it 10 times since I rolled it into this project, which is great. That's a huge improvement. I'm not even sure that I had reached for it 10 times in its entire lifetime of being with me. That is wild because I've had this actually for just over a year now, but yeah, I actually think I probably hadn't used it even 10 times in an entire year. My goal with this is to use up half of what I had started the project pan with, and there still is quite a lot of pencil here. I'll share with you the marking of what it looked like in the introduction versus what it's looking like today. And you can see I haven't made a huge jump, but I'm making a little bit of progress and I'm happy to see that. I actually think this month is going to have the most significant progress compared to the upcoming months because I was really trying to use this in a wide variety of ways, but I've come to the conclusion this is really just optimal as a lip liner. Its ultra matte formulation doesn't lend well to using it on the cheeks, at least not with ease. I tried to use it mixed with the primer that's in this project. I tried to use it mixed with the highlighter that's in this project and other liquid and cream cheek products in my collection in order to kind of get more of a coral toned cheek product. And I just found it too cumbersome. I wasn't interested in reaching for this in that way. And so it's dedicated to just being used as a lip liner or as a lipstick formula from here on out. I would draw it on the back of my hand and then I would mix it in with something else and then use either a sponge or my fingers. And I just found that this dried way too quickly and it just created such an extra step that I just couldn't be bothered with. So I think the progress is going to be really slow going from here on out, but I was anticipating this may be something in the project for the the vast majority of the year, and I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with that. I want to see that progress, and if it takes me a long time, then it takes me a long time. It's definitely insightful that lip liners are not something that I need to have a mass of in my collection. That is for sure. Next up is my Focus Bullet Lipstick. This is the number 7 Moisture Drench Lipstick in the shade Spiced Latte. I have had this in my collection for several years and it has really great progress on it. So my goal is to finish it up in this project. As you can see, it's a tiny little nub, but it started out in this project also as a tiny little nub. So I really haven't made that much progress on it. I've used it 6 times in this project, which is not that great for having worn makeup 28 times. This color is impeccable. I find it very flattering, and this formulation is also so great. It's so flattering because it bounces back the light. It has this like more balmy sheer kind of texture that just looks very healthy on the cheeks and on the lips. And so this update is definitely an eye-opener that I need to reach for this more often in order to see the progress that I want to see. I have marked this already and it is dismal the amount of progress that I've made. I think though my progress is happening more in this sloped area than on the top, so perhaps that is why we don't see much of a jump, but 6 times is probably not as much as I'd like to reach for this in order to see the progress that I want to make. My goal with this is to use it up, as I said. So once I get down to that plastic packaging, I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to use it more so as a tinted lip balm and as a blush at that point. So I may have many months with this. So I'd like to use this maybe 10 times in the coming month. I'm not setting that as a technical goal, but I'd love to check in at the beginning of March and have used this at least 10 times. It's so pretty and it goes with so many different looks. I don't see why that would be an issue whatsoever. And then for another lip product, I actually have a little sample. This is an item that I put in as a gimme. It is the Mob Beauty M55 lipstick sample. It's just a teeny tiny little pan here, but I've used this 9 times since I introduced it into the project pan, and I'm surprised there still is quite a lot of product remaining in here. I think I've got 5 to 7 more uses in this. I've been using it both as a cream blush and as a lipstick. It's not my favorite kind of color to wear on the day-to-day because it is very purple, and we know purple when it comes to lips and to eyes is not my favorite, but it is quite flattering, and I'm coming around to this type of shade because of this formulation. As you can see on the swatch there, it's a little bit more sheer. It's not something that's super opaque. It's definitely not drying. It's a very comfortable lipstick. And I do feel like it can be really easily transformed with a lip liner underneath, something like that Melt one, or with other lip products kind of mixed with it. And so I've been really enjoying kind of trialing this and seeing how I can make it work. I am surprised in 9 uses I didn't use it up, but it'll most definitely be an empty for my next update, which is great. I'm thinking at that time I'll probably roll another sample type of product into the project pan so that I can work my way through some more of those like blister packs and things that just linger and things I never end up cracking into because I don't want to use them, but I need to use them up. Why hold on to them? So I'm thinking it'll be a 1-for-1 sample kind of swap once the time comes to eventually roll that out, which will hopefully be next update. Hopefully next update. Lastly, for lips, I have my NYX Butter Gloss. This is in the shade Praline, and I have made really great progress on this. This is the only product type that I don't track because I just find it really difficult to monitor my lip gloss usage accurately. I don't want to track every single application, but I don't want to track them as like a daily kind of use because that doesn't accurately reflect the number of times like I actually applied it onto my lips. So I just refuse to do that because lip glosses come out on the go with me and I'm not gonna sit there and make a tally every time I reapply. So I have no idea the number of times that I've used this, but I can tell you it is a lot because I've made really great progress on it. There is a huge window of visibility in the middle of the tube there, and you may see it better without the wand in there. I think you can see there, it has just product at the top and the bottom. It is still coming out on the wand perfectly fine, and there still is a lot of product remaining in here. I think this still is something that's gonna remain in the project for a few more months, even though it looks like it's really well loved. it's gonna take a while to use up. I've used up one other butter gloss in the past, and oh my gosh, it took absolutely ages to work my way through because there's so much product in here, and this color has been something that I've really enjoyed reaching for. I don't have it on today. Let's just put it on. Love the formula. It's so smooth. It feels really hydrating, very comfortable, and this color is fabulous. It pairs really well with the lip liner and the lipstick that I've selected for this project pan as well. So I've been able to use things in tandem with one another in different combinations, and I've just been really enjoying reaching for this. I foresee it being something that I am able to roll out of the project pan in probably 2 to 3 more months. I will take out the stopper, but I'm going to avoid doing that until it's absolutely necessary, because this creates such a mess when you take out the stopper, and I don't want to do that until it's essential. I'm working on one and only eyeshadow product in this project pan, but I am doing a full Pan Those Eyeshadows project if you want to check that out if you haven't yet already. And I am focusing on a variety of different eyeshadows in that project, but I wanted to get some good use out of my cream eyeshadow, which is not eligible for that project pan. I'm likely gonna try to use some more of my liquid and cream eyeshadows in this project, but in any case, I set myself a goal of using my Auric Entice eyeshadow. This is the Smoke Reflect Cream and Powder Eyeshadow Duo. I set myself a goal to use the cream portion of this 10 times in this project because it's something that I oftentimes overlook, especially while working on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. Now, I don't feel like there's a massive change in the way that this visually looks. I don't think that it's changed significantly enough to really be notable, but I have reached for this 7 times since I introduced it into the project, which is fabulous. That means I only have 3 more uses left to reach my goal. And here is a swatch of this gorgeous eyeshadow right here. It is kind of a muted deep green shade. I love it. I find that this is just a perfect, almost neutral kind of green for me. Very wearable in my opinion. It offers a little bit of definition, a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of grunginess, but it's super easy to just wear as an eyeshadow base. It's really easy to wear as a liner as well. I've loved wearing it actually as an eyeliner recently, and just as an all over one and done shadow as well. Really easy to reach for this shade, and of course by my next update I'll have finished my goal of 10 uses. I'll use it 3 more times, probably very soon, because I've just been loving reaching for this. Next up is my Too Faced Hangover Primer. This is the oldest primer in my collection, and it is many years old, like far too old. It has way surpassed the period after opening, but it still functions and smells just fine. So I want to get it used up in this project pan. I've reached for it 13 times since I rolled it into the project, which is good. I feel like that's pretty decent. That's almost half of the times that I've worn makeup. And I love this for this time of year. It offers a little bit of extra hydration to the skin, and I've been wearing it sometimes when I don't have other base products on, but I've also been mixing it with other base products, kind of multi-purposing it, really trying to do the work with this and get some really good use out of this product because I am very motivated to use this up. This item though, in 13 uses, I feel like I haven't made a huge leap in it. I find it really difficult to track things in these kind of pumps because there is air in here. Product doesn't fully settle all the way down. There's product up in the edges, but I believe I've gone down about 1 centimeter in those 13 uses, and I'm happy with that progress. Progress is progress. So I've seen a change in the amount of product, and that's all I can hope for. In the coming months, I want to make at least this much progress, if not more, but only time will tell with this one. As long as I can get it used up within the first half of this year, I'll be happy. That might be a stretch, that may be impossible. It could take me longer, but I do want to have this done hopefully before the summertime because my skin won't be as much in need of this boost of hydration. So I'm really motivated to use it in these cooler months. The next product is also more of a hydrating kind of base product, and it is one of my favorites. It's just tried and true, a love of mine forever and always. It is my Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. This one in particular is in the shade Buttercream 03. It is a perfect base product in my opinion. It is what I'm wearing today. I just feel like it looks like enhanced skin, but it still looks very natural. It offers this slight bounce back of the light, but it's not overly glowy. It doesn't settle into my lines in a way that just looks cakey. It really is a beautiful product and hands down a favorite of mine for years and years at this point. This one in particular does expire in July of this year. So my goal is to use it up in advance of that. And I don't foresee that being any sort of issue for me. I've reached for it 16 times since I introduced it into the project pan. And as you can see, I have made quite a bit of a leap. Again, I do find tracking these sorts of things a little bit challenging. It's very similar to that Too Faced packaging, but I am able to bend the product down to here. So I think that that is relatively accurate. So yeah, I foresee this being no challenge whatsoever to use. It's just something that I need to have at the forefront to make sure that I do get it used before that expiration date occurs. I just would hate so much to let this go bad in my collection because it is so well loved and it's so beautiful and it's just so perfect that, yeah, I want to use up every last drop. This next focus product is one that I was expecting to be less of a challenge than it is. I thought it was going to be more of a gimme product because it is just a deluxe size sample. This is the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops in the shade Moonlight. I've had this in my collection for years and years and I almost just have savored it all this time. I didn't want to use it up for whatever reason, but now is the time before it goes bad. And although this is just a deluxe size sample, it is proving to be something that really packs a punch in terms of the product itself, but the amount of product in here is significant. I've actually used this 24 times since I rolled it into the project pan, and I've only made a tiny bit of movement in here. It is, again, something that's a little bit more difficult to track because the product seems to have coated the entirety of this product. And even when I use my phone flashlight to go through this, I hardly see a line of demarcation, but it's very faint. It's barely there. So I'm thinking that's where I'm at. And in 24 uses to have just made that tiny leap is mind-boggling, but I use a very, very small amount. This stuff is potent. It is potent. Like, I don't even have to use the actual dropper. I just kind of draw a little bit onto my face or onto the back of my hand, as much as that really. And it goes very far. So this is something that I've been mixing with my base products to create more of a glow. I've been mixing it with that Too Faced primer very often. I tried mixing it with the lip liner a few times to create more of a glowy cream blush for myself. It is something that I've been multi-purposing the heck out of because it is so glowy that it's just not my preference on the tops of my cheekbones these days. I have used it a handful of times that way, but it's just not my absolute favorite. Today I decided to put a little bit of it on mixed with the Too Faced primer as like a glowy body lotion sort of situation, and I really like it for that. I just thought it would be a little bit of fun, but this is something that I'm gonna have to use at least 20 more times, I think, in order to use up, maybe even more than that, which is wild that this tiny little deluxe size sample is that full of product. It's just surprising. It's surprising to me. All I can say is this is small but mighty, and perhaps I'll have it done for my next update, but if I'm realistic with myself, it may be even in the following update from that. So update number 3 of this project is probably more likely when this will be done. But generally speaking, I'm really happy to be incorporating into my looks more often, using it on a more regular basis than previously, and I'm so excited to have this empty instead of just letting it waste away in my drawers. Another product that I'm focusing on is this Milk Makeup Bronzer. If you know, my goal with this product is a very hefty goal. I want to use this 100 times in this year. That seems so large. I've never set myself a goal that high, but this is a product that I love. There are 28 grams of product in here, or there were when this was brand new. And so it just doesn't seem feasible to actually use it up in its entirety, but I gotta get some really great use out of it before it goes bad. It is something that I purchased in June of 2019. I put a sticker on the bottom to keep myself reminded. June of 2019. This June, it'll be in my collection for 4 years. And when it comes to cream products, that is very old, very old. So I have used it 18 times since I rolled it into this project pan. I'm really happy with that. Now, the visual progress on this can be very challenging. But this month I did notice that I can roll this all the way down and then actually, no, now it's not working. Okay. I could push it down more, but it's so hit or miss whether this will, yeah, the mechanism is spotty. I can't push it down anymore. So good thing I've been monitoring the weight on this one. So I started off with 56.62 grams of product in here. It's now at 55.96 grams. So I have gone down 0.66 grams in those 18 uses, which seems pretty large. Over half a gram of product used up in a month. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep using it. I'm just gonna keep monitoring how often I'm reaching for it, and I'm gonna keep monitoring what the weight is, but it's not something that's easy to track. This component is just so faulty. It's hard to twist up, it's hard to twist down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I love the product itself that's in here, and that's why I wanna use it 100 times this year. And I do think it's something that I'll be able to do. It might take me the first 5, 6, 7, 8 months of the year, and I may end up actually increasing that goal past that if this doesn't end up going bad before the end of this year. I might try to get 150 or 200 uses out of it because I love it that much. I am wearing it today. It is just so beautiful. It offers this hint of warmth, but nothing that looks too artificial. It's just fabulous. And lastly, the 10th and final product is actually a duo. It is my Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight Duo. This is in the fair to medium shade range. It's more like just for fair skin, just for a reference point. But I did already have pan on both of these products, and I did not set myself actually any sort of goal with this. I just wanted to monitor how often I was reaching for each of these shades and keep an eye on the progress, because this is again a product that's getting older in my collection. I got this in October of 2018. And while it had pan, it didn't feel like it was as loved as it should have been by this stage in its life with me. So I've used the bronzer 17 times since I rolled it into the project pan. I feel like that's really great. And the highlighter, I'm surprised. I've worn it 24 times since I rolled it into this project. Most often I used it to set down my eyeshadow primer, so I wasn't using like a huge volume of product. I was using it as an inner corner highlight, and then sometimes I was wearing it on the tops of the cheekbones, but that's just not usually my preference these days. So 24 uses in more like small areas, but regardless, I've used it quite a lot, and I'm surprised I used it more than the bronzer itself. I actually foresee myself being able to use up the bronzer this year, given the progress that I have made in that first month and how much I've been really actually enjoying this tone. I find that it just looks so natural because it's a very neutral shade. It's not overly warm. I don't have a particular goal with this palette, so I don't know when it will be rolling out of this project. I'm just gonna keep it in the project until I no longer feel compelled to reach for it. But knowing myself and how competitive I am with myself, I'm probably gonna try to keep it in the project until I'm done the bronzer, or I get burnt out from trying to use the bronzer. That's probably gonna be the case, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this is looking right now. I'm happy to see a little bit of progress happen on it in the first month, and I'm actually looking forward to using it more often in the coming months. So yeah, those are all 10 of my focus products. I have not hit any of my goals yet, but that is okay. It's only the first month of the year, and I foresee myself actually reaching my goal on the Auric Entice Duo for my next update, most definitely. And also the sample lipstick for my next update. I foresee that being completed. And a potential would be this Cover FX highlighter, but I'm certain that there will be 2 rollouts in my next update of this project pan, which is super exciting. So definitely stay tuned for that if you enjoy project panning content. Like I said, I also have my Pan Those eyeshadows on my channel, and I'm doing a non-makeup project pan as well that I update every other month. And that is something that has been really fun for me as well. So yeah, that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that your first month of project panning for 2023 has gone swimmingly as well. But other than that, I actually have to go start my workday in the next 7 minutes. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.